can get this.
You're going to work, right? No.
So it kind of came up with on Saturday when we had our collab work day. We had Lynette and Beth, and Beth was kind of mentioning that she went on an event to like promote, and she was getting a lot of people promote coming in, and she was doing her a lot of her tactics, which is great, and she got a lot of people, coming up. And then she mentioned for her homeschool group, she did a list, like a PDF list. What are some of the things that sixth graders and seventh grade math students need, or seventh grade students need in order to prepare for, like, say, the next phase? And Lynette mentioned, well, oh, that's your lead magnet. And she was like, what is that? And we're like, oh, something to kind of bring people into your group. And she's like, I I don't know how to do that. So I was like, okay, well, the next meeting that we have is next Tuesday, and that's our Tech Tuesday. So instead of just sitting here talking about Canva, let's kind of introduce the whole concept of a lead magnet and actually show live like how you can put something of attraction to your website or to your Facebook or something to attract people to come to you. So, and sometimes it's just really something small. Like you don't have to go on a full-fledged, videography, grand scam extravaganza. It's something that people that's tangible, that they feel that this is something that can help them with their next steps. So it could be like with us as math people, it could be like a factoring sheet. It could be, multiplicational tips, because a lot of our kids, they still struggle with multiplication because they were not given, like when we went to school, we had the cadence. I can remember us going through the whole, today, kids, we're going to learn the 7 times table. And we had to say it out loud and together like we are the Supremes or something. So it was just like, okay, what's going on? But that's what we did. But they don't do that in the classroom anymore. A lot of people will do videos. They will see like the rap videos or rock math videos that's on YouTube, and they're fun, they're entertaining. But do they stick? Like the kids can sing the songs, and kids can, remember the rules based on the fun little tricks that we give them. But the part is that application. And so it could be something of that. So when we talk about lead generating tactics, we're really looking at, sorry. Okay. So we're really looking at, some people are lost. Like I can't find the link. Okay. Hold on. Sorry. Let me pause on this so everyone doesn't see me. So, as I was saying, when it comes to like, so lead generation, you want to almost give some kind of like a freebie or something that you can do to attract people to your service. So as I said, there's some people that will do like maybe like after a webinar, or if you're on someone's podcast and you want to give something away, you can say, hey, I have like a quick tips checklist. I can give out, not really like taking money off of your services, but more so like something that's going to be helpful with your services. So like a factoring sheet, a list of the most common formulas that people need to remember. It could be like just some fun tips, or maybe some things like a checklist for parents to kind of say, be on the lookout for this. This is when your child gets here, this is when you need to I admitted everyone. What's going on? Um this is what you need to do if someone like all of a sudden needs assistance. So like these are like just some of the things. And like for me, like as I posted last time, was I was just playing around and I'm like, you know what? I want to do something to try to bring more people in or to have more discussion about tutoring. And I was like, oh, why don't I make a quiz? So right away, I was just like, okay, let me see about a lot of these AI quiz generators, and it was interesting, except for the price tag. I'm like, no, this is like a one-time thing. Maybe if I really push it, like three, but I don't need something that I'm going to have to pay month to month for because I'm not using it that often. I'm not really into the whole gamification piece of everything. Okay, here's another one. Okay, all right, perfect. Um, so for the most part, like Beth is here, and we're just kind of waiting for Lynette to finish up with her extravaganza. I love the word extravaganza, just in case you haven't figured it out. Um, but she's doing something with her abacus stuff as well. So when it comes to like lead generation, other than the stuff that I've been like talking and probably probing into your brain, like what are some of the things that you're doing to bring people into your services or to attract your service to people? Do I need to pick on people? Because I will. I feel like I'm in the classroom. I will pick on
Yeah.
somebody.
Are you
Hello.
asking? Like, okay. I have a few lead magnets that I put out in the past, and I've received a few people who are interested. So I have some on my email list, which I haven't done anything with. But so how am I trying to get people to see me is like social media posts and outreach. But it kind of stops there. So I'm definitely looking for more ideas of more relevant lead magnets and lead magnets that will hopefully turn into clients.
So how many people are in your email list before I get to the next person?
I probably have about 12 at the moment. Maybe a little less. I think a couple have dropped out, but I had like a set of emails that went out when somebody signed up for my lead magnet. So some follow-up emails that were relevant to the thing that I created, and then emails promoting my next lead magnet. So I put out a trilogy that were kind of related. And yeah, about 12. I mean, it's not a bunch.
Are you still doing those?
Not for a while. Sorry, it's really loud. I will, come the beginning of the school year, I'll start pushing some of them out again, because they're more relevant for the beginning of the year than right now. One is about goal setting. One is about understanding report cards and IEPs and like something specific for Ontario students and their report card. And the other one is, what is my third one? Oh, interview questions. When it comes to parent-teacher interviews, what are some good questions to ask teachers so you can be prepared? So it's not the right time to push those, but I do want to create something else. So I'm hoping to get some ideas today of something that I can push out in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. Okay. I think it was Nita.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
You cannot see me because I'm still on my PJs and I haven't done anything with my hair.
That's
So,
life.
the only thing I'm doing to attract people to my Facebook page is paid ads. I have like 3 lead magnets that I used in the past. They are posted in my Facebook group. So when people join my Facebook group, they can download them, but I haven't done anything else with them.
Okay. So how many people are in your Facebook group?
40. Mostly friends.
Okay. I'm just writing down notes. So if you're wondering what was Audrey
That's
doing.
okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. Who is next? Beth or Heidi?
Go ahead, Beth.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Go ahead, Heidi. I think Heidi's had a lot more success than me, so I'm brainstorming a list of what all I've done real quick.
Okay.
So if we can let Heidi, I'm still writing down.
Oh, okay. I haven't used lead magnets yet. People have told me I could use these. Like I send these if I'm working with a pre-calc student, I send them one of these so that I can refer to the Pythagorean identity section, the co-function identity section, because the kids sometimes have note cards made, but I send them this and then we're talking about the same thing and their eyes can go to the same place. I could use this. I mean, I don't know how many people are going to say, ooh, I want a sheet of trig identities before they get there. So I don't think that would work for everything. I do that like even like equations for circles or parabolas. Then I have some things written up that I can send the students. They can make note cards from that if they want. I just send it to them over I just text it to them so that we can be talking about the same things. So I don't really have a lead magnet. That's something I could maybe use. I've thought about like tips for studying math, but I think my biggest lead magnet, the way I get people on, is I offer that free 15 minutes of homework help. And I make it, you guys have all heard me talk about my copy. I make it very simple for them to respond yes to me. I only ask them one question at a time. They only have to respond yes, or give me a time zone, or give me their student's grade in school and the math class they're in. So I think that's a lead magnet. I offer them a free 15 minutes. And in the beginning, I only got students that I really, really wanted to work with. And then I started getting some people that weren't great fits for various reasons. And when that started happening, I started posting my price before, because I'm like, I don't want to be doing all these. And I got a few people that I knew they were just doing it for 15 minutes of free homework help, but I expressed that. But I found myself in one case in particular, a little irritated because I felt like the mom led me to believe, well, we're just going to try this to see if it's a good fit. But then like, I could tell it was just like, they're probably hopping around to different people getting free 15 minutes. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay. It's just, I started to realize it's becoming time. When I didn't have any students, it wasn't a big deal and I enjoyed doing it. But then you get a lot of students, it's like, I don't have time to be setting that up and spending if they're not really interested in working. But that's part of doing business. I feel it's part of the sale.
Yep.
So I think that's my lead magnet. Yeah.
What were you about to say?
Nothing. I'm done.
Okay.
I want to share that what I shared with you, Audrey, the other day, that the copy that you guys helped me do the last time that I used for my ad for the free algebra sessions, I got a student from that.
Ooh, awesome.
Yeah, I did.
Like a paying client?
Yep.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Lisa, that is awesome.
Yeah, she just started last week for summer.
And you gave her one free session and they decided it was a good fit?
Yes, and it was so interesting. I was a little scared because the girl, she's entering 8th grade, but she has dyscalculia, ADHD, and whatever else. Sorry, I don't want to sound disrespectful. I'm just very tired. Because I said whatever else. But she has some problems that she perceives as obstacles or big obstacles for her math. And then the dynamic between her and mom is like mom is all the time there to make sure that she does her work. And then mom was so scared. She was like, she doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want to do anything during the summer. And I don't want her to hate me and this and that. And said, listen, if you don't want her to do it, it's fine. But it's just a little bit of time to invest. And then probably she will be very happy the rest of her school life. when she overcomes these obstacles. So I say, let her try, even if she hates you, to make her work during the summer. It's just a little bit of time. And I said, plus let her be mad at me, and I can deal with that. So I had her, and I had a second meeting just with the girl, and I told her, listen, I'm not taking a lot from your vacations. It's only 1 hour a day. So you're still going to have the rest of your day for yourself. And yes, it's going to be hard work because we're going to be 3 days a week working. But after that, you will see the work in math is going to be so much easier. So then when we had the first class, I started her with the very, very basic, because Audrey kind of reprimanded me a little bit because of this, but I offered 4 free sessions because they paid ahead of time. And I gave her last week the first session. I started with the very, very basic because I was researching about dyscalculia. And she was so happy at the end of the session. She was like, mom was even happier because mom was like, oh my God, look at her face.
Oh, Nitsa, I'm so happy for you.
And I was like, yes, I said inside of me, yes, I told you, let me try.
Awesome.
I'm so happy. I'm very happy because I like to see the students happy, and that shine in their faces that tells me I can do this. Like I know that she realized in her mind, I can do this.
Oh.
So that makes me so, so happy. So I thank you guys for helping me with that copy. It's still, I stopped running it at the end of the month, but I guess it's still running around because few people have still asking me about it. So thank you.
That's awesome.
Good.
That's
Good job.
So that free sessions are a good magnet too.
So let me add the. All right, Beth.
Right. So I've done a number of things. I would say what's been most successful for me is the word of mouth. Because we homeschooled and we know other families, and some of them have asked through the years if I could help their kids with the math, and of course I wasn't available when I had 3 of my own, but now that I've graduated 2, I'm able to say yes. And so I've had a few families that way through word of mouth. I can tell you the other things I've done to reach out. I had made on just Amazon a bumper magnet. Natalie, go get one of my bumper magnets. Anyway, it's just stuck to the sides of my car. I don't know that it's catching anybody's attention. The car is white, the magnet's white, kind of blends. But when we traveled to Ohio for my daughter's medical trip, I took it with me and stuck it on the rental car. I thought, we'll just see. She's bringing it to me. This is what my bumper magnet looks like. So the QR code scans to my website, and of course the website is typed out there also, so they can take a picture, they can scan it as they're walking by at Walmart or whatever. I've also made flyers. I'll get Natalie to grab one of my flyers. Sorry.
Let's go, Natalie.
I know, she's awesome. That box, yeah. Anyway, so I've had some flyers made up. Audrey helped me create flyers. And so there's side 1, there's side 2, and I keep those in my little backpack with me. I've put out these at our welcome center for our town. Has places, just empty spots where anybody can place these. And we have, we are a very quickly growing area. We've got a lot of families moving in here constantly. And when people are new to the area, they want to go to the Welcome Center for information about what's going on in the area. So I go back and refill it every so often. I go in there and they're gone. So apparently they're getting picked up.
You know what else
And
you could
then-
do with that, Beth? I mean, this might
What?
be expensive, but it reminded me of what people hang on our doorknob sometime on our front door. They cut a slit in it and then it goes around your doorknob. You know what I'm talking about? But
Right.
you could go walk through neighborhoods, if you have neighborhoods where you know high school or junior high kids are moving into, like families are starting to move into there. You could just walk
Right.
through those neighborhoods and notice where the middle school kids are and hang them on those doors. You know, if they have newborns, you don't want to waste your money on that, but you could hang those on doors in neighborhoods.
That's an interesting project for Natalie, right?
Hey.
Yeah.
I want to ask, what do you use to make them? Like you use like a print company or something like that?
So Audrey helped me make these on Canva,
Canva.
and then you can order them through Canva.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
We can order through Canva?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
yes.
What did they cost
So-
a piece? What did that cost a piece to make?
So I got a box of 100, or was it 200, for like $80.
Okay. They're not,
And I did it just before Easter because we were traveling to Orlando for a youth conference, and I wanted to see about putting them out along the way. I stopped at some welcome centers, and apparently that's not something most welcome centers welcome. Our welcome center, it's, you know, they sure put them out, you know, we've got plenty of open slots, stick them in there. But I didn't find anybody else welcoming me to leave them.
Mhm.
But anyway, we've been using the same orthodontist for a bazillion years. And I think I've been with them since like he took over the practice. For 15 years between, you know, with my oldest child and he had 7 years of orthodontics because he had quite a mess. And then my middle child and now my third child still, so we've been in his office, like we're his longest standing customers, right? And he lets me leave stacks of these because the age of wearing braces is, you know, pretty much this age group that I'm working with. And so he lets me refresh my stacks at his office. And they get picked up. Our library allows us to put things like this. At the entrance, there's a table, and if there's a spot on the table where you can fit it without pushing somebody else's into the garbage, then you're welcome to leave some there. So I leave some at the library. Our library maintains a list of tutors for families. And so they also put me on their list for when families call and ask, I'm looking for a math tutor, can you hook me up, you know?
Mhm.
Where else? Trying to think of where else. Libraries. Some libraries, we've hit different libraries in our area. Some of them have community bulletin boards. One library, their community bulletin board was in the stairwell. So only when people are going up stairs would they see it. So that's not going to be seen very often. Other libraries will have them right inside the entrance, you know, so libraries, if you can find, if they have a community bulletin board, that's another place. Our banker, they don't have advertisements for anybody on their bulletin board. It's purely their business, right? Our
Mhm.
banker took one of my flyers and put it on their bulletin boards.
See, that's
Very kind of
nice.
them. So it's
Very
just,
kind.
we went, it was a like a tire place, and they had a waiting room, and it's, do you
Mhm.
mind if I leave one of these? Sure, can you give me 2 of them? I'll put one on the bulletin board and take one home to my wife. So, you just anywhere that has waiting rooms, would be another place to put them out.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think anywhere else. I just keep some with me because you never know. When that opportunity, people say coffee shops, but I don't go to coffee shops unless I'm traveling and I've got to have the caffeine to keep me awake. And so
Mhm.
the few times that I've gone, I've not seen places. Starbucks. There was a Starbucks. We were out of town. I had to have coffee to keep me awake for the drive. And they happened to have a bulletin board, right? Just,
Right.
and I said, do you mind if I hang this up? And I don't even remember what town it was. It's not local to me, but they, sure, go hang it up.
Mhm.
And so like mine was one of the few things on their bulletin board. People don't realize that you can go in a Starbucks and hang a flyer. I don't think most Starbucks have the bulletin board where you could. So,
Mhm.
it's
Well,
just,
plus a lot of people are usually making their delivery in their cars. I know the Starbucks near me, they're always in their cars, but they do
right.
have bulletin boards as well as Panera Breads. They definitely love to put your stuff up there as well. But even though you don't drink coffee, because I don't drink coffee, but my stuff is always in a coffee house because that's where a lot of the people are. So I'm like, and I try to put it right where they're putting their coffees together or they're waiting for their coffee.
Right. I need to hit some more of these coffee shops.
Yeah. Because everybody's being bougie now. So everybody wants to go to coffee shops. And, even kids at the rightful age of 6 is like ordering like frappuccinos and all kinds of stuff. And you're like, dude, you're 6. Like you can't handle this caffeine, but they're ordering it. So, and of course,
Which
when
it
they're
has a
looking,
reverse effect. On small children, caffeine has a reverse effect and it actually calms them down. That's interesting.
oh my
But
goodness.
anyway, so the flyers have been something that I've done. And that was the main places. So I, in February, started reaching out to directors of homeschool co-ops
Mhm.
and discovered that February is not the best time to be reaching out to the homeschool co-ops because that's when they are lining up their people for the next school year ahead of registration, and they were up to their eyeballs in trying to get people to fill the spots. And so some of them were like, I just don't have time for you. And then some of them were like, sounds great. Can you get back to me another time? Because right now
Right now.
yeah. But I did end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I did end up with emails for 5 directors that I can follow up with now that they've gotten their people in place and have opened registration and everything.
Okay.
And then not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I went to a homeschool expo and set up a display. And I just got one of those science fair expo presentation boards
Mhm.
and covered it so that it wasn't just white cardboard, and put some things up on it. And that was cool. I was the only math tutor there. I was the only tutor there. Well, I say that. There was another mom that does math tutoring, but she was actually there to promote the activities for the summer that she holds at our farm. So she wasn't promoting that she's a tutor. So I was the only one promoting tutoring. And so that was exciting. it kind of reinforced for me that the age group that I need to focus in on is the 7th grade pre-algebra, algebra 1, because that was the main level that parents who stopped by were asking about. So my board just said math mentor tutoring. It didn't say what level, right? So they saw math tutoring mostly up there. And that was the levels where they really were needing the help. It's, by the way, do you work with 7th graders, pre-algebra, algebra 1? And it's yes, that's what I focus on. So nobody asked me about the upper levels, geometry, algebra 2, calculus, none of that. These homeschool families were all, most of them were okay with the younger levels. It's that middle school level, you know, that they start losing their confidence to lead their children. And then a lot of them for the high school level, that's when they bail out of homeschooling and head, you know, and put them into the school system. So since that's the group that I'm mostly, you know, of course, these flyers are going to go out to any and everybody. So that's not going to limit me to homeschoolers, but you know, the ones that I've mostly reached out to are the homeschoolers. So there's another expo that I've just discovered in our area. And I forgot what it's called. It's really interesting. They call it a grab bag expo. And so the vendors are to submit their flyers and they're going to put together bags. And for each family will get a bag with all the flyers of whatever businesses want to advertise. And they'll just have kids' activities for the day, and the families will take their bag of goodies home and see, oh, what might I, but they know it's businesses that are offering services for them. So it's not going to be a McDonald's flyer, or you know what I mean? It's specifically businesses that are presenting themselves as resources. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are wanting to fill up daytime hours, those are some ideas as to search around for what expos may be happening in your area.
Yeah. And then also
But
check to see the pricing, or if there is a pricing. I know for us, if you do like an expo, it's like some of the tables will be like $10. Not because, oh, can I bring one of my own? They're like, no, we are saying tables because of space. Some may be $10, some may be up to like $1,100, especially the ones in Washington, D.C., depending on the expo. And you know, probably getting, if you want to get involved in your chambers of commerce, you know, something of that retrospect, you know, that will kind of help a little bit with leads. But if we can, there was one that you didn't mention that started all of this. What's the one that you forgot to mention, Beth?
I did word of mouth first.
The PDF. Remember the PDF that you, with the 6th grade and the 7th grade breakdowns?
Oh, now that hit me while I was at the expo. I had a few parents. So I brought textbooks that I usually tutor from, so they could look at it. And I had 2 or 3 moms stop by my station and say, I'm having a hard time deciding what to do for this next school year. My child is, you know, I've pulled them out of the school system. They're a year behind, they're 2 years behind, and I need a plan for getting caught up before we get to the high school years. You know, we're going to be 7th grade, we're going to be 8th grade age-wise, but we've got to get math caught up. And so I had them fill out a little form that they could leave with me, and just write on there that was what they wanted, was some help making a plan for their next school year. And yes, so I had a mom come see me last Thursday, and I made a chart of sixth grade skills and seventh grade skills so that she could see, you know, if I were to, he just finished fifth grade. So if he were to skip to the seventh grade level, what skills would he be skipping over? And really sixth grade and seventh grade matched up beautifully. It's just that the seventh grade level was going to cover like 3 more topics than the sixth grade level. So, and like the topic of fractions, at the sixth grade level was something like 4 chapters, and the seventh grade level was going to be 3 chapters. And so we talked about, you know, so if he went ahead and did the seventh grade level, then if we see that he needs to slow down or he needs more practice within these fractions lessons, we can always slow down. And then I presented the IXL as a resource for more practice when needed. And that's something that I pay for, the classroom membership, so that when I'm tutoring online, I can use the group jam feature, and they can, you know, we can bring up a problem, and when they put in their answer on their side, I can see if they got it right or not. And so I can, with a click of a button, give them another problem the same level, or I can click a different button and it gives them a little more challenging within that same skill. And I can just keep taking them up and taking them up on the skill levels. And then based on how they did during that group jam, it gives personal recommendations for what they should practice on. So, you know, I showed her that, you know, if you went ahead and went with the 7th grade level, he's not going to miss any of those 6th grade skills. It'll go a little faster, but we can always slow down if needed and take the extra time. We have a resource outside of the textbook for getting that. So that was a big thing, was, you know, these homeschool moms know that they're not expert in every subject, and so they look for someone that can guide them in the subjects when they get stuck. So presenting yourself as a resource is a big thing for guiding the parents with homeschool moms, is, or dads, is you know, presenting yourself as, I can guide you so you can be better prepared for leading your child, because that's what they've dedicated to doing, is educating their children themselves.
Because since they've made that commitment, so this is why having like a lead magnet, like even with your listing, and you're actually showing, hey, 6th and 7th grade, there's a lot of similarities, but we got to remember, a lot of our parents, they don't know. They're just like, I just want to keep this human being alive. Can I keep him or her alive? Are they able to grow up to be good people? Awesome. You know, all this other stuff when we're talking about adding, subtracting polynomials, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, fractions, and decimals. Let me have someone else do that. But by having almost like a PDF, like this is how it's almost, I want to say, take what you guys already have, because you might have like a small video that you've done. You may have like a checklist of, these are all the concepts in 6th grade. These are all the concepts in 7th grade. Even though you know there's a similarity, but guess what? That parent doesn't. They're like, this is amazing. This is the best things since sliced bread. Like this, I need this. Oh, if you're giving me this for free, which they're thinking is the holy grail, that means you really know what's going on. So now it's going to pique their interest to do more. Just like, if I may, with Heidi, like with your 15-minute homework help. You know, a lot of people are like, yeah, Okay, I want that free 15 minutes. But then you also can use your notes. Heidi, you don't even have to like transfer it over into like Canva and make it all pretty and all that stuff. You can actually take the notes that you currently have, scan it as a PDF, and send that. You're saying, okay, for algebra 2, even if they're not even like there yet, but the fact that I'm like, you're going to see this and I'm here to help you. So Lynette's like, oh, I was like, yeah, I'll see you soon. But you can currently take what you currently have. So even if you're like, it's all right, I just kind of put it together. No, that's exactly what the kids need.
You know
need
what? I know I hand wrote it and I'm like, oh, to type all this up with all the Greek letters and the math symbols, it would take me a long time. I could do it, but I don't want to spend my time that way. So I take a picture of it and text them a picture. But scanning, I could do that on my printer. I don't even know how to do that. Tell me what to Google so I can learn how to do that. Is it just on my printer?
Right. Just how to scan off of your printer. I know it's going to need a thumb drive, like one of those data stick things.
Okay.
You're going to put that in the side of your computer. And
Okay.
you know, most printers have like a screen. You slide over where it says the word scan, you hit that, and they'll just follow the direction. It's going to be like insert paper, and then you're going to lift up the thing, you put the paper in, close it, or you put it in the scanner.
Yeah.
Whatever the thing says, it's going to scan it, it's going to come out, and the information, like the picture of that, is going to be saved on your thumb drive.
Yeah. As a PDF.
As a PDF. And then once you take it out, it's going to be right there.
That would be better for me to send to students as a PDF. I've not felt great about sending it as a picture, but that was what I knew how to do. So that's my next action step.
Okay, there it is. So we're just going to be like scanning it in, and it's going to be for us to put it in, just to scan it in, and you just keep it moving. And then once you scan it, you're going to save it. And then every time you have a kid that's going to need help with that, you can send it. You don't have to rescan it all over again. Like once it's scanned once, that's it.
Okay.
And you can use all of those that you've done, that you currently have, and you can use that as, like, say, your freebie.
Yeah, good.
You know?
Thank you. I have my camera off because I have to eat my lunch now, and I have to leave at 12:40, everybody.
Not a problem.
Stuck out of here. Okay, thank you.
Not a problem. Sure. I get it.
I have a question.
Yes.
There is a summary of all the functions and transformations that I use when I'm tutoring Algebra 1, but it's not created by me. I found it on a website. Can we use that or not? Because that's something, and of course put the website and the reference, whatever, like, or that's problematic.
So I would say you'll be using that more so like as a resource, not so much as a lead magnet. I think your lead magnets really should be by your design. So if you see something online and it's like, oh, that'll be cool, but let me put my spin on it, that's going to be like kind of different than you're saying, oh, let me just scan this and then let me just claim it as my own. So like as you get the kid, like something like that will be more so like a resource than.
Yeah, I use it as a resource. Yeah.
Yeah. I would stick to it as a resource. I think that'll be a lot easier instead of like a lead magnet. So like some of the examples, heads up, that'll be joining from my computer. Okay. Yeah, not a problem, Michelle. So some of the things like the free trials, like some of the league madness, like I know a lot of you guys like the free trials, the free sessions. And that's fine, you know, that kind of generates it, gives you an idea of it. Is there a risk factor to it? Yes, but that's business. There's always risk factors to all kinds of business. But to kind of make sure it's like a one-time thing, and then like as Heidi's probably doing, like keeping track of who actually took partake of that 15 minutes. So you're not having any repeat offenders. So it might be like after you do it for a while and you notice, you know what, I'm spending a lot of time doing free stuff instead of pay stuff, then you just have to knock it down. Even if it's mid-school year, you don't have to worry about a certain time frame. Like say that it was like March, I don't know, say the beginning of the week was like March the 12th, and you notice that, you know what, I'm spending a lot of time doing a lot of free stuff. Then you could just say no more free stuff. You can do that on March the 12th. You can just say, yeah, all my services is going to be paid for now on. As long as you're putting some kind of publication saying the change, that's perfectly fine. We all worry about like, oh, if I'm going to make any pay grades, I should do it in the beginning of the year. Me personally, if you're doing any price increases, I like to do it in the beginning of the year, or it'll be the price increase for new people. And then you figure things out. But when it comes to like the lead stuff, don't give too much of a discount. Mostly give what you currently have. So if it's like a checklist, and I was just playing around yesterday with a quiz because I was just kind of curious, because a lot of people are doing a lot of quizzes on TikTok, and even LinkedIn has an option for LinkedIn games. And I was like, what? So they're really taking it on. Like a lot of people like the idea of play. And so when you're bringing in information, it's just a sampler that is going to be useful. Don't give something that only worked for something that started, I don't know, for maybe the first Apple computer back in the 80s. Like, that's not going to help, like try to update it as best you can. If you have any like infographics, like what are the stages of, like when we were talking about the caffeine, Beth, like what are some of those things to have like the people think about their brains. It could be something like, why is my kid struggling with math, and he or she's been a really good math student until 6th grade or until 5th grade? Well, because your child has jumped. Now they're going into algebra, which is a different animal than what was going on before. So, and what, like maybe to do something like maybe some helpful tips for parents to say, hey, your child's about to go into 5th grade. This is what's going to happen. Or these are some things to look out for. And this is how I can help that your child to make those adjustments. Something as small as that. Okay. So I don't want you to have to be like, oh, I got to do all of this stuff and I got to pay all this money for. Sometimes it's just really something small, something that's going to be small but useful. Okay. So I think Lynette's still here. Yes, she is. Hey, Lynette.
I'm so sorry. I've lost the time and I forgot what day today was. I'm so
It's
sorry.
okay.
I apologize.
I'm surprised I made it. Like the past 3 days that I've been having people, I'm surprised I'm still alive. Yeah. Not kidding.
One thing,
Go
I
ahead.
would not say discount. I would say limited time offer. So we have to
Yes.
be careful with the words we use. Don't use the word discount because we're not discounting your value. We're limiting, I don't know, we have to find new words. I'm not an English person, but we got to find new words and just say discount, like an added bonus or a extra value or founding member or what have you, right?
I think Nitsa mentioned, what did she say? It was an introductory offer.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I know, isn't that sexy?
That's a good one.
It's an
Yeah, I use that. I use introductory price. So that way they know that at any point that price can change.
That's a good one.
So with the whole lead magnets, now you did share with me your quiz, which I'm still researching on how to update my quiz. That was the first sampler. It didn't take me too long.
It was fantastic. It was
Yeah,
fantastic. The only thing
I get what you're saying, because I was like, yeah, this is all right. But what happens if people want to actually make a different choice? So
yeah. So what I noticed is you cannot use videos. It changes the whole thing video. So you actually have to use just not moving stuff. Sorry, even
So,
even the animated GIFs you can't use. You have to use static click here kind of a thing. So when I did mine was a game for the kids. And so yeah, they had to, and then there's multiple. I can walk you through how I did it.
okay. Okay. But it kind of like it gives you an idea. Like it's just a different fun way because one, it was an introduction of abacus. Like it almost like was a which I was very happy that I got 100 on. Thank you very much. I'm learning about the abacus. And I was able to go through it rather quickly, but I could see how you can use it almost like an assessment, and it's very fun. And this will also be like a fun, interesting way just for people to kind of see what you're doing, like maybe something that could be introductory for, I know a lot of us do algebra, like maybe like finding the missing number. And it might be something of interest like that, or it may be just introducing the distributive property, like making sure that you're giving to everybody. Like if you have an ice cream cone or if you have money for candy, make sure you're giving candy to all your friends or something like that. But it's something small, but something yet effective. So it's kind of like a lot of us have been teachers before. Look through your old stuff, okay? Dust off these binders. Take a look because you have some golden stuff in there that you never thought of. It could be a part of a class project that you did. It could be even a friend of mine in the UK, she did a 2 truths and a lie activity. And she's math. And what she did was, okay, there's like 3 problems and 2 of them are false, but 1 of them is true. And she did like a whole set of, I want to say a set of 5. And she just went into one of her Facebook groups and say, hey, I have this fun activity that your kids can do during the summer, just something just to keep them active. And if you want more, just contact me. She put it in, and I think she said she got like around 10 to 15, if not 20 leads from people just by a 2 truths and a lie activity.
Yeah, something super simple that could be a good lead magnet like yours, with the whole tutors and the, with the options and stuff. You can have it like choose your own path kind of a thing. And I could show you how to do that. And then I liked it, but I was not actively thinking as opposed to watching, as opposed to, being active,
Active,
touching the
involved
stuff.
in it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. Trust me, I get it. It was like the first attempt. But we can do like 2 truths and a lie. You can
Yeah.
do like your PDFs, anything that you have in there. If you're
Yeah.
doing anything with statistics, you can probably give like a small like M&Ms. Everyone's eating some kind of candy during the summer. Let's be truthful. M&Ms, Skittles, anything with multiple colors. And they can take a pack of those M&Ms, get some Dixie cups, and then separate them, right? If they separate them by color, and then have them create bar graphs, have them create, start talking about statistics, especially at the age group that we have. Start talking about mean. What is mean? Median. Which one had the most colors? Oh, this packet had, and just keep the stats and have them color the bar graphs by the color of the candy piece. And they can like do statistics, basic statistics like mean, median, and mode. And then you can, well, if they're older, if you want to go standard deviation, go ahead, girl. But but most of the time the kids are like candy, food, ugh, that's how they are. But like depending on if they're those transitional years, thinking about going into from 5th to 6th grade, they're going to start doing some statistics in a way. So even just something simple as taking the candy pieces and split them up and just count, okay, I have 5 red, I have 4 blue, and all this other stuff. They can do something, and you can probably just put something really simple and small. It's like, hey, here's a fun activity that your kids can do. You might even do a video on it and just show people like, now your kids can do it. And if you want my sheet in order for me to do the bar graphs, here's, just send me your email and I'll send you the sheet. Little things like it's almost like things that you used to do in the classroom, like really basic that you never think about. I know one thing, kids cannot do multiplication, and a lot of them cannot read the multiplication chart. They don't know how to read a multiplication chart. So it's kind of like, all right, what did I decide to do? I put like a factor sheet together. And now I have that factor sheet and it's going to be a part of my book that's coming out. Hopefully before the end of the summer. But it's like little things that you currently have. And it's kind of like, look through those binders, like seriously, look through the binders, look through your old textbooks. Remember back in the
Look through
day
those binders and see what you can make it into a interactive or digitized or
Still there? Oh, she's muted. Okay. I was like, are you still there? If you look inside maybe your old textbooks, they used to have like
there you are.
That was weird. I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, where'd she go? Okay. And then all of a sudden my thing went. I'm like, wait, why is my thing going? Okay, I'm here. I don't know. I did nothing. I sat in this chair. I guess I'm telling too many secrets.
What's the name of your book? I didn't know you were writing a book.
Yeah, well, it's a notebook until I saw what iPad is doing. Did I send it to everybody?
What?
Oh my gosh.
I don't think I did. I'm sorry. iPad, I'll send it because it really blew my mind. But I'm going to have like a notebook where kids actually are going to write their notes because these kids do not know how to write notes. So I'm using it almost like as a Cornell notes, but I'm turning it into, here I go, an extravaganza. So it's like they got the notes section, but we all know that kids like to doodle, they like to color, they like to have puzzles and all kinds of activities. But then they also need resources. And it seems like the resources are very geared towards elementary, whereas mine is going to be geared towards middle and high school kids. Trust me, they still like to doodle and everything. So I have the factor sheet. I'm going to have Pythagorean's theorem. I'm going to have the identities. I have the unit circle on there. That was always fun, trying to put a unit circle. And all those things that your Algebra 2 kids are going to be using. So I'm putting on the finishing touches on there. I was really trying to gear it towards young women. And because I want the covers to be of different women or young ladies from around the world. Like I really want to boost up.
So the kids get to choose their cover, right? They choose their cover. Insides are all the same.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I remember you showing us your artwork.
Yeah. So that's my thing because it's like trying to get the AI and all this other stuff and trying to get actual people to do. Because the one thing I love about my artist girls, but they're artists. Time means nothing to them. They're like, it's never a finished product. And I'm like, it needs to be a finished product. So, so playing around with that. But that can also be a league magnet because on the very back cover, it has my advertisement about my tutoring service. It does have a QR code, and I'm going to add a QR code to a video in the QR code to explain to people, what is this thing? So I have a local children's bookstore, which goes up to like middle school age kids. They have readers up to like, I think 16, not 18, like I think 16 or 17. So talk to him about, see if I can put my book in there. And he's going, oh yeah. So then when people see it, just tell them to scan the back if they want to know what do we do with this book. So I give you examples and stuff like that. But That's another, but again, that's like advancement. That's not like the beginning stages. Like beginning stages, I'm saying use what you got. And then as you build on, you're like, okay, let me make my own book. Let me make my own ebook explaining how to do whatever you've noticed that kids are missing. So like how to do multiplication, how to add, subtract, multiply fractions. You can actually create ebooks for that and use that as a lead magnet.
Yep.
So can I share something?
Sure.
I've already shown Lynette and Audrey, but I'm excited, so I'm gonna show you again. So at the expo, one of the things that I do with my students is we do a lot of note cards. And one of the homeschool co-ops has contacted me and they want to purchase a set of my note cards for their co-op. So I've been busy designing what would be a print, because we just grab note cards and make them ourselves. But at the co-op, at the expo, I had 3 different moms come by my booth and they were talking about, that their child has autism, ADD, ADHD, all these different labels. And they just, and I said, well, do they know their multiplication, their addition, subtraction, multiplication, division facts? And they were like, no, we can't get those in, and they have all these struggles. And I said, but can I show you, do you have just a moment? Can I show you how to get those in? I said, I'm not a specialist in autism or ADD or any of these, but from my own son's struggles, I learned some things about brain training. And so I showed them where I just brought, and it's just index cards cut in half. And I won't demonstrate the full thing for y'all, but I taught with them about how you use these. So the number on the top is the answer to the other side. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about, you have them stand because that gets the brain engaged. And then it's eyes on, out loud, eyes off, out loud, and we went through the process of how many to start with and how to do this. And we set a timer for 3 minutes because they can endure the pain of memorizing for 3 minutes as long as they know there's an end to it, And we talked about, how we encourage them with their mindset that, we're lifelong learners and not, looking at the whole stack of index cards that have to be memorized, but we are lifelong learners. And today, what we're learning is these 5 cards or these however many, and in 3 minutes, the pain ends and we can do it again later in the day. And mom and dad, even if in 3 minutes, they've only learned 2, that's 2 cards they didn't know 3 minutes ago.
Exactly.
And these moms were just tears going, I can do that. We can do this. I talked to them about the color coding because it's another way that it reaches the brain. And, it was a very simple resource. These I reach for even when I've tutored college students. This set right here, the integer rules, we make these for even college students. Because they need automatic recall. And so it says, finish this statement. When combining numbers with the same sign, add and keep the sign. And we keep that on the table. So when they are working through their problems and they're going, wait, -3, -7, what do I do with this? Are the signs the same or different? Well, they're the same. All right. So tell me what this says. And as they recite it, their confidence grows and everything. But anyway, a co-op has contacted me wanting to purchase a set. And so, Audrey, I just wanted to tell you, this afternoon, I am going to the post office to do my copyright, mail myself a copy. because I have made my complete set 1 of note
happy.
cards that are printable. And so, for example, this one is when are common denominators necessary? There's a yellow corner because this deals with fractions. And then here's the back side. And so I'm getting my copyright going on
Nice.
this. And I'm
Good.
working on set number 2. And so I'm going to make, sets like this for reference for 7th grade through the high school years levels, just categories at a time. So I don't know how many sets I'll end up with, but this is in progress.
There you
Beth,
go.
Beth, I might want a set of those, and I might want
Me
to.
too.
I have so many students who could use those. So I would want to tell my parents of the students I tutor about you, because I've got algebra. I'm tutoring a pre-calc girl tonight. She's in college, pre-calc and trigonometry. She doesn't know how to add fractions together. So when she's adding trig functions together that are in fractions, I've asked her, I said, do you know how to add like 1/3 plus 5/6? She doesn't
No.
remember because they use their calculator. So I have a whole bunch of students. I would say at least half my students could benefit from a set of cards like that. So you get busy and we'll start.
That once you find out how to have a set like this, you print them and then fold it so that it's, because I have a hard time creating it where it prints back to back.
Right.
So it's just print it, trim it out, and fold it. These are 3x5, so they're index card size, and they can be laminated for more sturdiness. But I want to find out, like, how do I get in touch with a publisher that would print them as actual cards that could be sold as a set, like on Amazon.
Couldn't you do that on Canva?
Can they be?
Because
I
you're
don't
going to
know.
be printing.
When I looked on Canva, I didn't figure out a way to do that. But I think what I'm gonna do is blow through creating all my sets first. So I have it all designed and created, and then and see, like this one, I don't know if anybody else called it this or if this was one my brain came up with, but the metric slide.
Mhm.
Y'all ever seen that? I think my
Not
brain
me.
came up with that. Everybody else does it as a stair step.
I like
And I
that.
actually tweaked it before. So the one that's saved now has across the top, King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk, so you can remember the order. But I teach them this instead of the factor label method when it's metric, because it's so fast and easy. There's no need in traumatizing them with the factor label method for metrics. So anyway.
Do you have this as a printable for you on your website so people can buy it?
Well, that's where it's going. So like I just got this ready to go in the mail so I can copyright it. And then this, I'm going to see about, I don't know how to do Teachers Pay Teachers. I don't know how to get it out there so it can be purchased.
I was trying to say Teachers Pay Teachers, you could hit a worldwide audience and you could get a lot of money on that. Because you could get lots of, even if if you don't charge a lot, you can get a lot of people buying those. I used to get a lot of stuff off Teachers Pay Teachers. In fact, I still once in a while look at it for different things.
To start a store, we can add that as a next week thing or next month. I don't know how you want to scale in, Audrey, but what you could do is you could start a store. But you have to pay $30 as just to start it, just because they're trying to get rid of spammers and stuff. One thing, when you start creating your TPT store, you have to have a preview, a few, you got to start taking some pictures of it, and then you can post it up as a thing. Yeah. But if you want to do that, we could do that. as a next thing, or now, depending on how quickly you want to do it. But you can also put it on your website and have it, people pay you for that if, if they ever find you,
Right.
right?
But we
Um,
went first, Beth.
I'm
What was
sorry.
that?
We went first dibs.
We went
Oh,
first steps.
We went to buy first.
Yeah, so it'd be
Yeah.
easy, what you could do is you could put it on your website and then have PayPal can, have people pay you through PayPal, right?
Mhm.
Or whatever you have. But there are ways to get to it, so then, people will pay you for the digital download. You can just send it. I would not recommend Etsy just because
Mm-mm.
they closed down your shop. I
Yeah.
got my shop closed.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
And
But
she's like
teachers pay
selling
teachers.
legit stuff, whereas there's other people that are basically taking celebrities' likings and ideals,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're still got their stores up, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
So I mean, they were like, yeah, Etsy's great, and it's like it's great if your clothes is not closed. So they'll shut you down, and they'll shut you down without a thing. But teachers pay teachers is more open. I think I feel more what do you call it? More easier to get to.
Do they still require that you, I think I had seen they require that you have something that's for free.
Yes, you do have to
Mhm.
have one thing for free, which is super easy. Just you can either create a checklist or you create some activity or what have you. I have my lead magnet as my free thing that I put on TPT. So,
I want to also say something. I don't know if it makes sense, but Lynette mentioned about that later on another day we can talk about creating a store. I don't know if there was one time I entered to this website. It's called Maneuvering the Middle, and it's like a store. It's by a teacher, and she sells their resources for middle school math. And I think that's like, is that an example of a store that you were talking? Is that kind of what is it, Lynette, to create a store?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it'd be a store on your website so
Right.
people
Okay.
can buy digital downloads. And then there's a
Okay,
separate
perfect.
thing which is a TPT store, and that would be a separate. But the good thing about having a store on your website is that you could start collecting email addresses and you
Mhm,
could start giving them emails and stuff. So that's the
mhm,
idea. But not too many people are comfortable with buying from a personal website just because they don't know you yet. But as you
mhm.
get out there and you start, getting more authority and say, this is what I got, this is what I got, people will be more comfortable to buy from you. But,
Okay,
you got to go through the small, get it out there and, have it both. It takes more time when you put it on your own website,
got it.
Mhm.
Okay.
but it'd be a good idea just to start it. And if you do the same resource, one on TPT and one on your website, you have it the same price. Because if TPT ever finds out you have it cheaper in your site, then they'll close down your TPT store because now you're competing against each other,
Competing.
right? So just
Yeah.
keep it the same price and you'll be fine.
All right. So
I-
keeping these lead magnets simple. Like, it's like,
Yes.
let's keep it simple. Look at what you currently have so you can start putting. I know right now there's it's the summer. A lot of people are not thinking about anything. Still put it there, still promote yourself because you still want to be top of mind when they do finally need you. And especially like start talking to those parents on those transitional years, like from 4th to 5th, from 8th to 9th, to even to 2nd to 3rd, like really getting with those developmentals because they're like, oh, I can handle it. But at the same time, showing some tips once in a while, quick 1-minute video of a tip that you've done, or showing some what are some things that parents need to think about. So again, it could be like a part of an activity that you want to share, and you can share it with like your Facebook groups that you guys go into, like some of the family groups. And like, hey, I just have this fun activity. You're not even selling yourself. You're just like, hey, I just found this really cool activity that I think will be great for your kids. Here it is. If you want it, here, just message me and I'll give it to you. Or here, it's right here in the link. And then all the people that are responding, oh, wow, this is really good. This is really great. Do you have any more? Do you have more? Because it's just like an addiction. They're going to see the first time and they're going to like, this worked out so well for my kid. Now I want more. Okay. Well, this is what I have on my website, or this is another one that I can do, but I'm going to need, like, go ahead, here's a link, put your email in. So now you're collecting emails. So sometimes the first go around is just a matter of presenting yourself, making a name for yourself, putting yourself out there. And then, because it's a process, guys, it's not going to happen overnight. I'm sorry. I know we all want to happen right here, right now. We got bills that we got to pay. We're just trying to eat, we want to stay above water, and I get it. But this whole process is going to take time, and it is going to take consistency. So if you are going to say, all right, I'm going to present something in this group once a week, I'm allowed to, because you know how some people have their issues. They're saying, okay, every Friday they can allow us to do something. Go ahead, put a post in there. Hi, guys, I have a really cool activity that I just want to share with everybody. See if it works with your kid. It worked with mine. Have fun with it. Enjoy. That's it. People that are like, oh, this is great. I love this. Thank you so much. Blah, blah, blah. Remember their names. Remember their names. So then if you have a second one, because we all like to bring it in, yes, okay, you want the second one, you're going to have to like either message me, send me your email, blah, blah, blah. Put it on, I think somebody has like a Facebook group. You can go into my Facebook group and I got tons of these listed there. Or you can go to my website and I got tons of these listed there. In order for them to get it, they have to access your stuff. They have to get your email. So this is the reason why we really came today, is to build on that email list. Michelle, you say you have about 12 people in your email list. Like Nitsa, you say in your Facebook group, you have roughly 40 people. Even though you haven't talked to these people in a long time, it's time to revive. It's like, hey guys, how you doing? I had to get myself together. Now this is what I'm going to do. And don't feel bad for starting up again. Don't feel bad about that. Because trust me, if they really understand, they will get it. And just say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm revamping my website. I'm going to try to put in some more stuff, maybe some things that you can purchase, maybe some free stuff. I'm trying to revamp, and that's perfectly fine. And I think that's what a lot of people stop when they said, I haven't done that in years. Like I haven't touched my LinkedIn really, like seriously, in years. A couple of people like, oh, hey friends, I want to connect. I'm like, okay, whatever. But now I'm really starting to think about it. I made a couple tweaks on there, and then I got a couple more people looking. And I'm like, all I did was a couple tweaks. But because I haven't done anything with it for years, I don't feel any type of way of like, okay, well, now it's time for me to revamp it. It's perfectly fine. So as long as we just keep going from here on in, I know sometimes it's going to be feeling kind of frustrating. But eventually I want people, like say Nitsa, eventually I want you to have less paid ads.
Me
eventually,
too.
because it's costly. It's very costly.
Yes.
But it's nice to put some stuff out and you are getting people, but now the people that you're getting, okay, I need for you to be ambassadors of my business. Start spreading the word around. Start really taking a look like how many kids you want to have for the summer. And don't stop. Like Beth, it's great that you had like your local library wants to support you, your orthodontist wants to support you. You keep going to those things. And then the people that we getting with their email list, make sure we contact them. Because then all of a sudden they're taking this information, and it's easy to take your information and to share an email than it is trying to physically have you. So as I'm saying this to you, I'm saying it to myself as well. Because now I got like 400 and some odd people. And I'm like, so what do you guys need? And I have to understand that I have to present, because a lot of people, they're like, I don't know what I need. All right, cool. Let me break some stuff down to you. So it's a learning progress. And I really feel like for your lead magnets, take a look what you currently have. Take a look at some activities that you could probably give to people, especially for the summer. You know, everyone's going to be having some kind of popsicle, something with popsicle sticks, something with Dixie cups, something with candies, like packages of candy, something that could be math related. Now, do you have to come up with a new activity each and every day? No, don't kill yourself. It's too much. Just look what you currently have as a PDF, as an activity, something that you're going to put on your website. If you want to do like a cheat sheet, you can do a cheat sheet of like, you know, just with the cards that Beth has, some of the rules, like understanding integers, especially when they get older, they can't get that. I don't know why, but it's just a thing. Fractions, like having like a picture verse and having picture representation, as well as having the actual numeric representation. Something of those retrospects. So it's almost like, well, if you really stop and think about it, you probably have tons of this stuff already done. And you're thinking like, oh, I never thought about having that as a lead magnet. And then all you have to do is just either have it as, because I think that's what we were trying to do today. How would Beth put it in her website? So like, how would she put, hey, I'm doing this in my website? Or how would she put, no, not the cards, but the PDF, the checklist? Like, how would she put the checklist in her website or Facebook?
So when I realized a couple of the moms were struggling with, or a few of the moms, with what level math do I choose for my child for this upcoming school year, I went on Canva and created just a Facebook size post saying, you know, trying to decide between level 6 versus level 7 versus pre-algebra, or, you know, I can help, you know, reach out, PM me, something like that.
It's like, I can help, and I have a
so-
checklist. And I have a
didn't say
checklist
anything
already.
about the checklist, yeah.
Yeah, and I have a checklist. And if you want the checklist, come to my website.
Give me your email address
Give
and
me
I will
your
send it to
email.
you.
Right.
I will send you the checklist to your email box, your inbox.
Another thing a lot of them wanted was help with pacing out, you know, their math curriculum. They get this textbook, and a lot of us use teaching textbooks, which is a textbook that's about this thick because it has the lecture and the work in it. And, you know, pacing that out for 2 15-week semesters. I've already created those pacing charts, you know, so that's, I guess you could call that lead magnet, right? Is
I would make that as a product.
She's like looking at the breakdown. She's not
I
doing
would
the
make it as
actual lesson.
I'd still make it as a product.
Really?
Like a $2, $3 product. Because when people pay, even if it's not a lot, when people pay, it's one more thing that they're more invested. Yeah, they're more vested. So something like even that, I mean, I think that would be that would have more value if you put a price to it than as opposed to as a free curriculum pacing thing. I think the checklist is a good idea.
Let me grab it real quick.
Yeah, I think the checklist is a good idea as a because that's an easy talk. I think that's what it is when you talk like lead magnets, it's something that we can have a topic and you talk about it as a discussion, as opposed to this spacing schedule seems more in depth.
Okay.
That's how I see it.
Copy of it.
I have a question. So I can offer my lead magnets in Facebook groups, but I also can put it in my page, right? My Facebook and Instagram page, etc.
Yes, put it in your link. Create a links page, put it in your bio, put it in your create a link page. So when they go to your website or however, when they say link in bio, we create a link page. I don't
Okay.
use Linktree, but you can.
Oh no, I don't need to add more stuff.
Okay.
I tried to do Linktree and I was halfway of it. Oh,
And that's what it looks like. So it's paced out. That's a first semester, 15-week, second semester, 15-week. And most families will do a co-op, so it's paced out for a 4-day week. So that their 5th day, whatever day it falls, is a day they're at co-op and they're not doing math lessons that day anyway. So that's like a big thing. Some of the kids that I work with, that's a big turnaround for them and their family, is now their child is empowered to stay on top of this themselves. It's not mom saying, no, I want you to do 3 more lessons. It's, they have goals,
This is what you have.
this is goals. And if you want, the blue bars represent break weeks. If you want a week off that week, then you've got to be caught up. If you want to be done at 2 weeks into December, you got to stay on track. If you get ahead of that, because like in our household, we always have a goal for December off. We want to finish everything by the end of November so that we have December off. So, we're like, okay, so this is paced out for 2 weeks into December. If I can get ahead by 2 weeks, got all of December off. So a lot of these kids, it kind of is a turnaround point, and it's a big relief for the parents because they feel like they're not arguing with them over how much has to be accomplished this week. They can see in front of them, if I want December off, that's doable. I'm just gonna, step it up here or there. And anyway, so this is paced out to a particular curriculum, and it's part of what I do. So if a family is working from a different curriculum, then I take their textbook and I pace it out for them. It's just kind of one of the part of my service working with families is I'll pace out whatever their curriculum is.
So it's a service that you're charging?
It's just part of what I do. If I'm officially tutoring for this family, whatever their math textbook is, I take it and create one of these charts so that we're all on the same page. So that when their child comes to me next week, I know what lessons I'm prepared to go over with them because they're supposed to be here.
Oh, okay.
That could be a lead magnet. Yeah, I did because it's an outline.
Because I would even just say, all right, I'll give you the first page. And then if you want the second page, you need to get my services.
Or even the first month.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a month is enough for them to get a feel for it.
Right. I know it seems like we're nickeling and diming, but it's almost like you have to. This is going to sound horrible, and I know it's a little late for everyone, but you
have to productize.
Yeah, I think that's the best way, because I was going straight hustling and flowing, and you gotta think like a drug dealer.
Stuff. Productize and upsell, and these are all language that we need to start thinking about as we start as we
Mhm.
start doing our own business. Because it's just like going to McDonald's.
Yep.
You want a Big Mac with that with fries? That's an
Yep.
upsell. Do you want this service?
What
That's an
size?
upsell.
Yeah, what size?
Mhm.
Small, medium, large.
Yeah.
Even though it's almost the same size cup, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Um,
Sauce.
but
They still, I don't know how it is in your area,
yeah,
but they charge
charge for
for
the
extra
sauce now.
sauce,
I know,
right?
ridiculous.
Oh
And
my
they give you
God.
2. Like, really? I
Yeah.
got 20 nuggets, and you're giving me 2 sauces? What do you want me to do?
I have a question. Do you guys have boba in Jack in the Box? Do you know
No,
what boba is? Okay.
no.
Okay, so
What's
it's
that?
probably still regional. So it's a Chinese dessert where it's just like big giant tapiocas, and the fast food chain is now selling it. And I'm like, this is an American fast food chain. They're selling something Chinese. And I'm like, oh my God. So, anyways, what I'm trying to say is productize your stuff, upsell your stuff, give out little nuggets, with your 1 month or one, what have you. But start breaking it out because we have to start thinking as consumer, what would a consumer want? And we don't want to overwhelm them.
So
So
we can't
this
think like
this
you're holding back. You're not really holding back. You just don't want them to.
Yes.
giving a sample.
Yeah, you give them a sample. Yeah, right? When you go to the mall, sample, have a
Mhm.
sample, right? It's one of those
Sample.
things. There's this comedian I love. He talks about going to the mall and getting a sample. Sample for you. It was a Chinese supermarket one. Anyways,
Right.
but just like when we go to Costco, right? They give you samples. They don't give you the whole thing. They give you a
Right.
sample. Try it out. You like it, you buy it. That's it.
Mhm.
And we got to think about it this way. Why? Because that's
This is how our economy works.
exactly.
And if it's not a
And
sample, because we don't have a celebrity that's going to be like, oh my God, I learned so much from ACG math tutoring. And, we got Paris Hilton saying, oh my God, that's hot, ACG math tutoring. We don't have that. Because that's what people really go with the celebrities. What are they doing? What I want to get that. So that's one way. Another way is the sampling. Give them a little try, give them a little taste. This is what, oh, you like that? You really enjoy that? You really want more? It's almost like Chick-fil-A. When you addict it and all of a sudden you want to eat it on Sundays and the place is closed. There's something in it.
there's something in it.
There's
Well,
something
yeah,
in it.
right. Or you can give them like when we do subscriptions, right? When we go to I don't know, Netflix or Disney
Mhm.
Plus or whatever, they give you a 14-day free subscription. It's the same thing. It's a sampling. So we got to do the same thing with our service. I don't,
Yeah,
should we do it this? I think we should, because
I think so.
that's the business model that we are accustomed to.
So can you talk a little bit more about this idea of the quiz, the two truths and a lie? I didn't quite visualize
Sure.
that one totally.
So
You
if
wanna
you
show it?
think of, there's
Show
like,
it.
Matt,
Show it.
I don't have it. It's not mine. It's another person. You're like, show it. It's not mine. It's an idea I'm sharing. Because she told me I was able to share, but she didn't give me her stuff. So on one sheet, just like how you have with your cards, you have 3 boxes. So in each of the 3 boxes, you'll have like 3 different equations or 3 different examples. And you're saying, well, we got two of them is going to be the wrong answer, and one of them is going to be the right answer. So you got 2 truths. You got 2 that are the right answer and 1 that's not the right answer. So you got 2 truths and a lie. So say that the truth is which equation or which expression equals 4. And then they have to do the calculation. And then they're like, oh, so you have A, B, and C. So which ones are my 2 truths? Oh, A is 4. Okay. B is 0. All right. So that means this C has to be it. And you're like, okay, explain to me. And the parent, you can ask further questions of like explaining, how did you get that? I know I used to do it for like professional developments. So I would always introduce myself and I would say, all right, I'm really 5'9", which you guys don't know. I'm really 6'1". I'm really 5'9". No, I'm really 6'1", I used to play professional basketball and I'm a stripper. I don't know why I always put the stripper thing for the professional developments. People find it hilarious. And they're like, oh, you're not a stripper. I'm like, didn't know my previous life before teaching. So I will always like tease people. And they were like, well, you can't be a professional basketball player because you're here. And I'm like, really? But then they will have to figure out what is the two truths and which one's the lie. So you can put in like math problems. You can put in
like that. Is that what you're
Yep.
saying?
Perfect. Yep. And she did like 5 sets of those. You can do 3 sets of those. And you can give those to people and just say, hey, I just did a fun game of 2 truths and a lie. Maybe you can do it with your kids so they can like do some math. Yep. So just like that. 2 of them that's going to give you the same answer and the other one that's going to give you the wrong answer.
Interesting.
We can make that interactive on Canva. That'd be easy.
I'm so sorry, ladies. I was opening the door. I couldn't hear what you said, but I have to go.
Yeah, I know. It's like after 2, and I'm so sorry.
It's okay. But I just want to say, Beth, I'm so excited about the product that you're creating. And I want to buy it. So as soon as you have it, let us know. And I want to thank you guys for all this information. This was awesome. I already wrote down like 5 things that I had in my old planning, lesson planning binders that I can use at Lead Magnets. So
There you
thank you
go.
so much.
Awesome. No problem.
All
No
right. I
problem.
see you guys.
Yes. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that's basically what I have. I am more than willing. If you want to say for next week, we can try to show people how to do something. I'm more than willing to do that because I don't have anything for next week. It's just the week after. We have the business talk on the 25th. So I'm free. I mean, if anybody wants to do that, if you want to see how I finish up with this quiz thing and see how that goes, that might be an option. More than willing to do that. It just didn't take that long, but once I figured, you know what, I can use Chat GPT to help me with the questions, I was like, oh, should have did that in the beginning. It would have killed so much time. And then be able to do that process, that's not a problem. But yeah, I always say like look at what you currently have and just remember to keep it simple and give people a sample of what you do. That's all it is. And go ahead.
So you're using quizzes as a lead magnet, is that right?
Mhm. Yes. Like
So
for
they
me, it's going to
answer
be the
the-
lead magnet for the membership.
Right. My wheels are trying to turn through that one. All right. So tell me how you would use a quiz as a lead magnet to your tutoring.
I
So,
wouldn't.
yeah, I mean, for a lead magnet, for my tutoring, it'll be almost like
really.
an interactive checklist for parents. Like,
Yeah.
parents, have you noticed this about your child? Almost like this will be, you know, what would be a great solution is to get a tutor, for especially for next year or right now. That's what I would use like a quiz for. It's like, have you noticed, you know, your child is crying, homework is not coming home, or just like your child is doing a whole bunch of homework, or your child is constantly crying that he or she cannot do anything, or everything's perfectly fine. You know, that's something almost like a checklist, but I make it like gamified so it doesn't seem so daunting. So like maybe like 4, at most 5 questions. But it's almost like going through the pain points and making it into a quiz if I were to do for my tutoring business.
Okay.
I would hit, yeah, that's what I would be.
That sounds about right. Like I would not say, do you know what, 4 + 4 is kind of a thing, because then they
Yeah.
don't need you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, the checklist, like a milestone or, differentiating what you have, I think would be really good.
Got it.
Yeah, I know we're trying to make it fun, but that's where I see my summer. My summer is just to be top of mind, putting some things out there. If a parent's like, you know what, I really want to get my child ready for 9th grade. Yeah, okay, let me do some tutoring service. Let me give you like some of the misused, like fractions, multiplications, doing the distributive property. Good God. Solving multi-step equations, solving single-step equations, and graphing, dear sweet Lord, and slope. Don't know why, but those are like the essentials just to get them ready, because I don't know where your teacher's going to start, because every teacher starts in a different spot. Doesn't matter if you're in a different state, same state. Every teacher starts at a different place. So at least I can kind of get you thinking at least once a week for an hour. We're just doing some math and just having a little bit of.
Right.
Okay. All right. Was this helpful?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Michelle, were you able to get some ideas? This is a little
This is
quiet.
great. I do have a question off topic, if you don't mind. Beth had said something earlier about teaching the metric system. Now, being Canadian, we live off the metric system, and that's what we teach in school. So I'm very familiar with teaching the metric system. It's part of my curriculum. But I didn't realize that the curriculum in the US includes teaching the metric system. Is that common? Is that part of Common Core? Is that like, what grade level do you start like teaching the metric system at?
3rd grade?
Really? Okay.
My kids,
Third
yeah,
to
because
fourth.
yeah, because they start talking about centimeters, millimeters, and measurements, because it's because of science. So they're trying to involve more STEM
Mhm.
into it. So I remember my kid started in so my kid is going to regular school, and I think they started in 3rd grade.
Okay, that's actually really good for me to hear. I was thinking, generally I support students in multiplication and division skills and basic like number operations. But, if somebody were to ask me about teaching measurement, I would have to spend quite a bit of time teaching myself the imperial system, like inches and feet and all of that, which is a little foreign to me. I mean, I know I could figure it out and teach it, but I didn't even realize that the metric system was part of your curriculum. So that's amazing. And
I don't.
yeah, and the metric system's so much easier. Like it's all a factor of 10 or a multiple of 10, and it's like, I don't know, the imperial system is just fractions, and I don't know, it just doesn't seem as straightforward.
My kids don't know the imperial system they're not pushing the imperial system as much in regular school.
Fascinating, really. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, interesting.
They do like pounds.
Interesting. I mean, being Canadian, like being like right above the US, I mean, a lot of our material is American based. So, I mean, I measure distances using metric. It's like, I know what a mile is, kind of. I mean, I know a kilometer much better or a meter much better. However, if I'm cooking in the kitchen, I use a combination of cups, and but then I also can use grams and liters. When I weigh myself in pounds. I have no idea how many kilograms I weigh, and my height, I know my height in feet and inches. I don't know my height in meters, which is, it's crazy that, in Canada, we push the metric system. However, there's still so many measurements that we relate to that aren't metric. It's a little crazy.
Because Americans are dumb. And there's a lot of influence
we're
in
very
Canada.
influenced. We're very influenced, but the metric system is, I mean, I just find it, if students understand how to multiply and divide by a factor of 10, then they understand the metric system. I mean, it takes some practice and review, but I find it's very straightforward. And I'm glad that America is like jumping on the bandwagon of the rest of the world so we can all talk the same units.
Yeah, especially like
hold
when we're
on.
doing conversions. Like
Yeah.
we do a lot of conversions. Like that's in chemistry,
Yes.
that's in algebra 2, like and even in 7th and 8th grade, like we're doing like tons of conversions. And our kids struggle. And I
Mhm.
have to admit, sometimes I struggle because I'm like, okay, all right, I know it's a probability, and I mean, not a probability, I know it's a proportion, and I can set up proportions, but then
Yeah.
how many series of proportions do I need to get to my final? But we don't have a lot of the whole milliliters to liters, and like it's not that bad. But when it skips, like when you go from like a millimeter to like an inch, or if you go to seconds to days or weeks, the kids get lost in the sauce. They really get lost in the sauce.
Do you spend time converting between imperial and metric? Like if you have this many inches, how many centimeters do you have, or vice versa?
I see it a
No.
lot, especially this year, but we only spend like maybe 3 weeks on it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of kids usually spend like about it's a section. For us, it's a
What grade?
section.
What grade, Audrey?
Juniors. Juniors,
Juniors
and
is
there's a
11th
small
grade.
of it,
11th
11th
grade?
grade.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. 11th grade,
So
Yeah.
and
for
then
the
some freshmen, some 9th graders.
Yeah.
so
So
for
like,
the
yeah,
kids that I've worked with, this card right here, the equivalences, as I call it,
Mhm.
is in their 7th grade math curriculum. And
Mhm.
then this, being able to use this, both of these are, and then being able to use this shows up chapter 1 of physical science in 8th grade. So we work at getting comfortable with converting where you have to do factor label method and converting metrics, which is just when you have it lined up like this, you're just sliding. I don't present it as dividing by tens or hundreds or anything like that. We just grab that decimal and we slide back
Yeah.
and forth. That's why I call it the metric
That's
slide.
just slide.
We just grab that decimal and slide it back and forth. So if you're going from hectoliters to deciliters, you're moving 1, 2, 3 places to the right, grab your decimal and move it 3 places to the right. So that's why it's important to know this in the correct order, because whatever direction you moved on this is the direction your decimal moves. But this is, for the kids I've worked with, this is in 7th grade, and then it is in the very first chapter of physical science in 8th grade. So it
what is
again
the
becomes a reference they set on the table with them when they need it, without having to go back to the textbook and find the lesson.
what was the first thing that you said? The label factor? I
Factor
don't know
label method.
I don't know what that is.
Their physical science curriculum calls it the factor label method, and that's where you may be converting from feet to inches, feet to yards, or even inches to centimeters. All of those you have to use.
Oh, okay. So it's just conversions.
Proportions.
Okay.
They call it the factor label method in the science textbooks that we use.
Right. And that's another thing. It's the vocab. You know, like a lot of kids will get them in math and they're like, I've never seen it. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, wait, we did science back when we had Miss blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden the conversation goes into something completely different. But we see that it is basically like the conversions and, you know, these tricks and tips and, you know, this is what you need. Like, try to keep it. And that's what makes us great as tutors, because we try to make things simple and easy, because the way that they want the teachers to teach it, they want us to multiply by 100, or they have to divide by 10, and then the kids don't understand, because why am I here, and why is, you know, the grams on top versus the pounds on the bottom, and then why am I crossing things? That's why we're needed. That's why
That goes
all
back
these
to the
things.
fraction rules. They all go back to the fraction rules. That's why it got put in the same set. Yeah, vocabulary. The vocabulary of math, I always start out fraction lesson doing this, going, which way does it go? Which way does it go? Because they've got to know denominator and numerator, and it's, wait, which one was that? So I start out with, but which way does this go? And, you know, and then we talk about, well, the denominator goes down, and they never forget it again.
So it's those things. All right. I'm about to pass out. Okay. So
Okay.
it's been a couple of days.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Because I think we really hit on league magnets. Michelle, did you have a question?
No, I'm good.
Sure.
Okay, I do have a question, but I mean, if we need to go, we need to go. So generating a lead magnet, you get people's emails. Which tools I mean, I know, Audrey, you said in the past that you generally don't use your email lists often.
I'm trying.
But I've had issues with ConvertKit and what's the other one, like a monkey or something, or
MailChimp.
MailChimp. Yeah, the monkey. Okay. I'm confusing SurveyMonkey and MailChimp.
Right.
I've had issues with those, that they don't accept my email address. So they will not open up an account and allow me to create a series of emails to go out. So I've actually found that I can use my website. Wix has an auto, is it called it's not an autoresponder, but an auto email, whatever they call it, like to generate a series of emails that go out. But I don't love it the way that it works. I've had some issues and I've had to talk to customer service. I was just wondering, what providers do you guys like to use to accumulate your email list and then follow up with emails with them?
So
the
I'm
next step
starting
after the lead magnet, you know.
Right. So I'm starting, mine is called, I found it on AppSumo. It's called Zagomath. Why am I raising my hand? So Zagomath.
Can you type it into the chat?
Sure. As soon as I can, get rid of the hand, which I don't know where that came from.
Oh, it goes away after a while. It's automatic. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll change that. And I'm still waiting to see.
Lynette. Oh, there you go.
Zago Mail. And I'm checking to see when it's back on sale on AppSumo, because I just had to pay one time. It's like a one-time lifetime deal. And I can, I'm all about those things now, because it's basically someone that's starting their business, their small business as well, and they go to AppSumo, and AppSumo actually has like a lot of discounted business apps that people can use. I found a couple to help me break down the videos that we did, and they break it into smaller clips, and I can rearrange it any which way I want. And that was like $40. It's very similar to a lot of like Taja. I think that's another big name one that people are using, and they're spending $80 a month for, and I just paid $40 for it. And then I can talk to the owners and say, hey, it would be awesome if you can do this. So I've done Zagomath. I know some people like to do like MailerLite. I've heard different things with them. But it's hard to, because sometimes it just seems so difficult. It's difficult to use. Like, I just feel like I haven't found one that I felt like really easy to use except for Zagomail. And Zagomail is just very simple.
Yeah,
Like, it's
MailerLite didn't
simple.
accept my email address either. Like the only way they would accept me is if I spent the money to have my domain name added to my email.
Wait a
And
minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What email address are you using?
I use Proton Mail.
Right. And
And
that's not US.
and they said we can't approve your account because you're using Proton Mail. The only way around it is if you change your email. And first of all, this is my email address. I don't want to change to another client. I want to continue using Proton Mail. And second, I'm not ready to spend the money on having my paying for my domain name as part of my email.
I see. So in America, there's this new thing that came around called so Google and Yahoo sent out this like blanket that you have to have a domain with yours so then they can stop the spammers. So the reason why is because Google would allow free emails. Your Proton Mail is a service provider?
Proton Mail is like Gmail. It's free, but it has added privacy and security and encryption added to it.
So if you're planning to market in America, you need to change it to a domain name like contact@audreycotter.com. You have to spend that money. Do you have a domain name already?
Oh, I do. I have a website, but I'm not willing
So then
to
all you
spend
got
an extra like 30 to 50 a month on upgrading
you don't need to.
email.
You don't need to. You can just go to like Namecheap, or you go to Cloudflare, get a mailbox from them for like $1 a month, and then just set out. Or you could go through Zoho Mail. Zoho Mail, Zoho.com, I believe it is. Just open up a free account with them, funnel it to Zoho Mail, and then use your Zoho Mail as a domain, because you can use it as a domain with a mailbox, and then from there you use your domain name. There's ways around it. You don't need to pay. You just cannot be using your Proton Mail. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just haven't heard of the option of doing it for just $1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could go to cloudflare.com. What it is they need to have, what it is they'll help verify that you have a domain name. Yes, thank you. Namecheap as well. You have a box. You could even use Zoho.com. They will give you a box for free. You're allowed one for like, I don't know, 5 gigs or whatever. It's not like you need a whole lot of whatever, right? But at least you get authenticated, authorized, and then you could use the other mailers like MailChimp, ConvertKit, because you're going to have this problem anyways if you're going to be advertising in America, no matter what. Because Google and Yahoo put their foot down and say we cannot condone spammers. So you can keep your Proton Mail and you can funnel it through and use your domain email.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, good luck.
All right, thank you.
Because I was like, is this something that we're going to have to get together and to show? So if anything, I think the very first thing, take a look at these places. Take a look at Zoho, take a look at Cloudflare, and take a look at Namecheap first. See which one feels right for you. All right. Look at the price, is going to shock you. You're like, what? Just for $1 or like $2? That's it? And like, yeah.
Zoho's free. I have a friend that
Oh
does
yeah,
Zoho,
Zoho's
and
free.
she says she loves it. Yeah.
So take a look at those. Once you take a look at those and then you're like, I think I'm ready. Then get in touch with get in touch with Lynette, get in touch with me, and then we'll see if we can just do it like a little session, record it if we want. Well, there's going to be private information, probably not record it, but at least we can do it.
And we can blur out stuff.
Blur out
You'd have
stuff.
to edit
Okay.
it. You'd have to edit it.
You're killing me with the edits.
Because I always like to have more information, recording and stuff, right?
So like if we can do that, because I know you're not the only one, because we have some people that's in the group from Australia, some people that's from England, and they're probably going to be doing the same, going through the same thing.
The
and the
only
Philippines
times
too.
I've had an issue with my email address is trying to work with ConvertKit, like trying to work with those like websites, ConvertKit, MailerLite, and
you're gonna
right. Because
yeah,
you're getting
that's
emails.
the only, but I've never had an issue with anything else, like setting up my website, marketing.
That's because you're not sending out emails and blasting it out. That's the difference. This is why we use an email service provider.
Yeah.
Because they are sanctioned.
Yeah. And as I said, Wix does have that feature, and I have used it on Wix. It's just not, the interface isn't as user-friendly as I would like it to be. And I've played around with the others, and they're just a little bit more, the interface is just a little bit nicer to use. So, I mean, Wix has been fine in, the short term for what I've needed. So, but yeah, no, at some point I do want to have my domain name as my email address. I wasn't ready to spend the money. However, if it's that cheap, then I'm definitely going to look into it.
Oh yeah. We always find cheaper options. Cheap, but effective. Just want to let that be known.
Yeah. And I don't want to have to deal with issues and problems as I go on. I just want it to be straightforward and simple, and get my email and send email and not have an issue. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. That'll work.
So Zago is equivalent to like ConvertKit
and all those.
Okay.
Because I just basically I'm able to take all my Facebook people that gave me their emails. I made an Excel sheet. I'm able to put that Excel sheet on there, and then I can just do like one email and send it as a series and send it to everyone.
What's the name of that? Can you spell it, Audrey? Or
yeah,
post
it's in the chat. But
I only see name sheet in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there it is. I had a bubble over it. I see it. That there was just another window blocking that. Okay. Zago, no problem.
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep looking, because every once in a while, AppSumo, which I'll just put that in here. I do have an affiliate, but I don't know. If you go on AppSumo and just kind of breeze through there, because sometimes they have something that you want, like say my Vista Social, when I basically was able to put all my social media and just do one post and it'll blast out to everyone at one time. Of course, now with Facebook making their changes, which is fine, but I'm still able to go to my business, but not into groups. But I still have my Instagram, I still have my LinkedIn, and if it's a video, I can do my YouTube on there, I can do my TikTok on there, or if you guys are in Snapchat or whatever, I can just do one post and just send it out at one time. It's a huge time saver for me. And plus, if I don't know what to write in the social media post, they have an AI feature that will just give me an idea, and I'm like, okay, let me tweak, and then boom, there's a post. And if I need to duplicate, I can duplicate it on one spot and be done in like 10 minutes, if not less, depending on how many times I have to duplicate it. But I've been getting a lot of other resources that I use on there. There's a calendar is very close to Calendly that I use to do like the meetups and the meet and greets. And sometimes I just use it just for the You Can Tutor now. So I can keep that calendar separate from my tutoring calendar. I like to keep things separate. That's just how I flow. Some people like to put it all together. But you got options. There are options out there. Just because they're not completely in your face right now doesn't mean that there isn't any additional options. Okay. Because we want to start a business, but at the same time, we want to keep it flowing. And if anybody has cheaper options, we'll probably find it. So I'm always researching. Okay. Any other questions? See, that was a good question. What happens if you didn't answer that question? If you didn't ask that question, we would be so lost. So that was a good question. Any other questions? Comments? If something does pop up, what are we supposed to do?
Ask Audrey.
Ask
Audrey. Yes.
I'm gonna have to bring that segment back. Ask Audrey. Hey, what do you need? What do you need to know?
Yeah.
But seriously, like, don't hesitate. Don't say, "Oh, Audrey, you're super busy." I will make time. Okay. But it's so much easier to, if I don't know it, I know somebody that does, and I'll just bother them and they'll give me the answer and I'll give it right back to you. That's fine. But I want you to be able to get your questions answered, because this is how we're going to grow. We have to ask questions. And if I don't know it, I'm going to find out what it is and see what happens. And then, like Lynette, I'm going to go and poke your brain and figure out how to do this quiz thing. How to do the structure of it. I'm kind of curious. It might be something really simple. And I'll be like,
it's so simple.
I know. It probably is. It's just my brain is just not wrapped around. And I've watched too many videos that everyone's doing the same thing. And I'm like, that's not what I want. It's not. You just had me sit here for 6 minutes watching your video, and it's the same as the other person. So anyway.
Yeah.
All
There's
right.
a few things that I was able to do.
2 times the speed.
I know.
I always watch so many videos I watch on double speed just to get through it, and then I'll stop. Oh, so that's interesting. I'll slow it down.
Like sometimes I'm just like, why are you talking so fast? Like, I don't know. My brain is just like, stop.
It's funny. The only times double speed doesn't work is when kids are talking. Sorry, I'm going completely off topic, but there's some videos I watch, like, sometimes I take like math, like watching math lessons and stuff. And so, when the instructor is telling you about these strategies, as teachers, we speak nice and slowly. And then they model it with kids. And so I'm watching it on like usually 1.75 speed. And the kids are like, I can't understand a word.
Can't do it.
All kids speak fast. It's crazy. I never really was aware of that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And they go on lovely little tangents. You're like, where are we going with this? All right. What else?
Okay.
So Lynette, do you have time? Or do you want to do it you have time? Okay.
Yep.
All
Let
right.
me go get my coffee and I'll be right back.
All right, no problem. Michelle, Beth, this is awesome.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to end this video, but